What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Kevin to on YouTube shit. Hey man, we are lit to man. Turn. Today, tomorrow for day. So you're outside big crip in the case. So you're outside shit, man. Free pass down, free Congo, rush your thing, and take the stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day to be a better version of yourself. Nail aside, bring you down. I'll start back. Nail aside, tell you who you are, but also put yourself in the position of alone. Let's stay humble. Let's get a revolution. On the new kick y'all in first. Come to the Black Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. Alright. Here we go. Alright. Boom. Today, tomorrow for day. Take you outside big crip in the gang. Shooting outside shit, man. Gang. Go turn. Bruh. So, y'all know what's been going on in this world, man. So, you know, we had a lot of secret society people. You know what I'm saying? High places. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff has been getting exposed over the past time. Because I think God, Yahweh, is really exposing these people for what's really been going around in his scenes. It's like, if you're a regular person and you did all this shit, you're done. But if you're a rich billionaire or super famous, shit just go under, swept under the rug. But, he's been getting through this. Let's turn up. Okay, let's get through it. So we got Jeffrey Epstein, shit crazy. Jayz, crazy. Donald Trump, that's kind of crazy, but we already knew about that. Joe Biden and Nicki Minaj, bruh. So y'all know that about all that kid stuff. That's not what we really want to talk about. What we want to talk about, man, is how people been getting kidnapped and eaten and rituals. So this shit getting crazy, man. Like, it's all coming out and it's only a matter of time. Let's get through it, man.
Jesus of Nazareth was the same way, right? Never wrote anything.
I thought he was a carpenter.
He was a carpenter.
But didn't he need like a little carpenter's tonight? I don't get that.
But at least his written record. Right. One last thing. Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody knows.
Smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is at the number 1 or 2 archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Shout out to TDB story. We're gonna talk about Epstein, man. Like I said, man, I feel like Epstein is a white people problem, man. But hey, when I tell y'all people, man, they was eating people, and then he got so many people exposed in the sheets. It's crazy.
Attack or stroke, debilitating.
This is after he got let out of jail, bruh. They did an interview with him.
It was both.
He exposed a lot of people.
Why was it both? Because, in fact, as I said, the blood was getting dried up in the system.
Y'all think he's
and
dead?
Head, which is the central bank, wasn't working. So, to some extent, it was a combination. It was a crisis.
Did you see that building up over time?
It's always been lurking in the background. I mean, if you have an older parent, would you say it's possible? Did you anticipate him having the heart attack today? No, you hope things are going to go better and maybe they'll fix it up. The system was getting too complex, and it wasn't based on derivatives, because what people keep forgetting, and as I was just explaining, Wall Street and in many professions, including Wall Street makes it sound complicated. They don't want the little guy to understand what they do, because they make so much money.
Because it's rigged.
They don't do very much. So they
Ponzi
couch it in
scheme.
words like derivative and stock options and commodity futures.
A lot of it ran by the fake Jews. Let's talk about
different
it.
types of contracts. It's all fairly. Everyone is capable of understanding it. It is not complicated. But Wall Street, because they make so much money from doing fairly simple things, needs to make it more complicated than it really is.
Yep, to make it so they can take all your money on it.
We had a very big recession in the early 90s based upon real estate and Japan basically imploding.
Let's again, okay. You had a recession in the 90s. I don't know what it's based upon. It's always interesting to look back and say, separate from there's certain triggers, like there in the 70s there was a...
What do you think it was based upon, the 90s downturn? It's clearly there was a huge downturn.
Man, you gotta keep God in your life, man. Y'all wait.
That's what I know for sure.
That's a fact.
Everything else is sort of speculation about why did he have...
Understand
and we
there's
gotta
some speculation that has 0% probability.
He's just a fall guy,
true,
nigga.
And there's others that have...
His boy is way more people. He's just a fall guy.
In the range, when you look at the range of
Him and
alternatives
Max
of what
Glanwell,
could have
whatever name
cost
is.
in 90, and what I'm trying to do is get you all the way up to 2008. Look, you're the smartest guy in the room, right? You know that. Do you think there's anybody in the world today?
Oops, this is going to be a bad question.
No, but do you think anybody in the world today, the Alan Greenspans, the Bernankes, is there any central banker you know, any partner of any Wall Street firm, any guy running a trading desk, and I would take it that would be, or anybody at a Larry Fink at BlackRock, Steve Schwartzman at Blackstone, the top 100 financial guys, and let's throw in a couple of Nobel economists, and let's throw in the best professors at Wharton, at Harvard, at Stanford. Do you think that there's anybody that understands money or understands...
Man, all the Jeffrey's going out bad. Jeffrey Epstein, Young Thug, Jeffrey, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Now,
this shit getting crazy.
Now that I've gotten that, let's go back to 1990. In that arc from the fall of the Berlin Wall to 2008.
Good.
We started with the implosion in Tokyo of the Japanese economy, Japanese financial markets. We had the huge run-up in internet stocks, right? We had the implosion of that in 2000. The bankruptcy of Drexel Burnham in 90. Mm-hmm. Implosion of Japan, huge run-up in equity markets for the internet, implosion of the internet in 2000, 10 years later roughly. Mm-hmm. And then this run-up through the Iraq War and all that, the run-up to 2008. Every 10 years, it seems like, we're in some sort of... 10 years before the 1990s was the 70s.
Well, guess who's not in a recession? Okay. The billionaires.
And not a financial person.
You're supposed to be a mathematician. It just seems to me a pattern of every 10 years.
That's misleading. That's exactly right. Okay. Because people like to see patterns. People like to see patterns where there are none.
So a pattern of a financial crisis every 10 years is just in my mind.
Yes.
Long-term capital, that had to be bailed out back in the late 90s when everybody panicked. And that wasn't a big, that bailout today would look small. And it was $5 billion, or was $30 billion.
Businesses fail all the time.
But long-term capital, the Federal Reserve stepped in.
But I'm saying people go bad. Things go bad.
That's a fact. It does a lot of stuff that people think
correct.
It's going to last forever.
The audience is watching this. The little guys, they go bankrupt all the time and nobody gives a shit.
At all.
You know why? They're a little guy.
Facts.
But when long-term capital management goes bankrupt, or Bear Stearns goes bankrupt, or Lehman Brothers goes bankrupt, people care because... it's
an unfair characterization.
Why do you say that?
Because, again, it's the complexity of the situation. If you think about you have a complex system. You have your body. Now, in fact, the little guy is my finger. This is...
And Bear Stearns is your heart.
That's correct. The banking system is my heart. The system, I can't risk my because remember, it's not only my.
You haven't been able to name.
Hang on.
You haven't.
What, hang on.
No, hang on.
I was trying to hang. I wanted to see if the hang on worked.
No. You haven't been able. You're not good enough. Junior wizard trying to do it.
He ain't the motherfucking Jeffrey Epstein that before he went to jail. Because it's after. He's still in jail, but they took him out for interview.
You're not bragging. You're humble.
Grip.
It had to be
People
sometime.
thought this nigga's gonna have a deep, strong, dark voice. This what you think he's gonna have? He's gonna have a nerdy white
went
voice.
to jail and
Nigga, this is exactly how I thought he was gonna sound. He's
in
gonna
the
sound
summer of
like this.
2008.
It's exactly
He
how I
started
thought he
getting
was
very
gonna sound.
nervous that this complex system, that something was deeply wrong.
Okay, first, let's go back. When I say no one understands the system better than I do, it doesn't mean I
You always
understand.
sound like a doctor. You're afraid he's going to get sued for giving a thing.
Yeah,
You're not taking on any liability. There's no contingent liability here for your answers.
No. But the word understand is the problem.
Okay.
I don't understand the system. So I don't understand the financial system.
Please stop. You cannot sit here and tell me.
No.
What we just went through, I'll go through again. The hedge fund managers, the money managers, the central bankers, the commercial bankers, the heads of the investment banks, the heads of all the trading desks, the top economists, and I'll throw in the business school lectures at Stanford.
Remember,
all
gang,
the top 200, 250.
These people was
You can't
eating
name at the
people
top of your head.
and doing
The
rituals.
guys are at least at your level.
You dig what I'm
have to
saying?
understand it.
These niggas was playing with people's blood and doing like throwing it on the ground and doing crazy shit. Bro, this is not no game, nigga.
It's a mirror. It's this. That's part of the problem.
These motherfuckers looking
It's
nice, but these
impossible
motherfuckers
to
eating
understand.
people and
That
doing
word
rituals.
understand simply means if this happens here, that will happen there. It's predictable.
Forget the other stuff,
Understanding
nigga. Y'all,
means
they
it's
was eating
predictable.
people and doing
It's not
stuff with their
predictable.
blood.
That's the problem. It's very in complex systems.
Like,
that was the
come on.
fascination. Is
You
there
don't
a
care
way
about
to
the other shit
tease
because
out
that's for
some
the birds and
level of
bees. But come on.
predictability?
So
No, in fact, you would ask
You
the
know, that
question.
shit was
It's a
crazy.
great
All this
question,
shit was crazy.
which was it a stroke or a heart attack? Now, most people
He
don't
might
know
be
that
on the
before they're
ground
gonna have
right
a
now,
stroke,
nigga.
They have a stroke. They just have a stroke. Do they understand why?
Yeah, he didn't fuck with
In
black people.
hindsight, you go back. And
That
you can
mean
make
not what
lots
you
of
females
explanations.
anyway.
It might sound good, and if you're talking
I don't
to
know about the niggas either.
the working man, you're using language that he'll never understand. It's complex. So he's just like going to his doctor. He says he has a gastrointestinal problem.
But he
He
did
has
have black people in that
diverticulitis, as opposed to saying you had a stomach ache, you ate bad food. People don't like to say it in normal everyman terms.
They want to make it so fucking
The
difficult.
system had a stroke, but we don't know why.
But you just, hardworking people, and there's a great social benefit, would you not agree, with having people having ownership in
How
the
can people
system?
taking all the goddamn
When
money
you
on?
say ownership in the
They
system,
want enough flowing
it
around.
doesn't mean.
Let's start over.
Okay.
So flip
Sorry.
over your phone too, because
Yes.
I don't want anyone to see
Yeah.
on your phone. So maybe flip it down or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, who knows what the fuck comes up in that phone?
that's correct.
Which one has sent you?
KSA.
I can't not believe I've
Because they was saying this after when he was in jail. So this is before he went to jail. Why he was in jail?
Now,
Because
there's a funny part to that we
this
missed.
nigga
which
acting
is-
like he just living the life. They was saying he was in jail.
You asked me.
Is there anything funnier than that? For black humor, it's
So I know he
I don't
did
make
this
any
been an
black
interview
comments,
while he out of jail. 'Cause he went to jail.
You asked me what
At
I
the
was
time.
wearing.
that's right. You're too wrapped up in the Me Too movement.
Yes. So I was wearing a brown
See?
jumper and a brown pair of pants given to me by the jail with the word trustee on the back.
So I know this is a federal charge when they, you know what I'm saying, about the
Well,
anthem.
the funny part was it was spelled Trusty. So I wasn't really sure. I'd been a trustee in many different operations, but it was the first time it was actually printed on my back and spelled incorrectly.
Probably had a higher level of being a trustee at that than you had at all the boards that you were trustees, right?
Yes, right, because as the trustee meant you get two devices to clean your toilet as opposed to one.
Yeah, but it also meant that you had some sort of personal fiduciary own responsibility for oneself, right?
In the jail? You mean?
Well, that's what being a trustee is. That's why they give you two.
Yes, you get two cleaners. I was a trustee in the jail because I was able to teach some of the kids to help them get their GED.
Damn.
So that's how they gave me a trustee job.
Finesse the
There's
system.
no time. I got to go back to this because it's I'm like a dog with a bone on this thing.
Yes.
You can't. There's something deeply fucked up with you.
least something.
Well, we know there are things deeply fucked up with this. We'll get through in this film, but you cannot possibly have to sit there.
It's kind of crazy, man. They blame all this on him when it's like a whole ring operation, nigga. It's like over 300 people in this shit.
Maybe physics. The thing people, most
Thousands,
is like
you know what I'm saying? This whole fucking
understanding high
ring
finance.
operation.
To sit there in what will be the defining financial crisis of our time, like Black Friday or Black Monday, whatever it was, in the Great Depression, and be there at that exact moment, triggered in part by a firm that you used to be a partner in and knew intimately well and created much of your initial net worth because of, and know that you couldn't, someone who lives on a phone, right?
Yes.
Because you do live on a phone, right?
Correct.
You had to make just 2 collect calls. You cannot tell me sometime during that day you did not have that conversation with yourself of how the fuck did I do this to myself to put myself in West Palm Beach in a 6x9 cell with a metal fucking bed with a brown shirt that said trustee spelled wrong.
Damn.
So did I find it amazing that I was there? That's
Not amazing. I don't want to say it's not funny. Oh, I thought
It wasn't funny.
Right. But not amazing.
It was incredible.
Incredible in what way? Incredible, like how do I do this?
The fall from grace, nigga. Motherfucker was a billionaire.
Incredible as me sitting
All the way
here
in the
this house.
motherfucking cell for the rest of his life.
They're both just 2 sides of
Until
the
they say
coin.
he allegedly took himself out, but we don't believe
That's
that.
how I think about it. That my life today.
Okay, where did all this goddamn money go to?
No.
You know what
I
I'm
just consider
saying? Like,
myself a-
it's kind of weird. Where does all these billionaires' money go to? I know it's not going all to
Stokes
family.
not very happy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff I be saying. That's why I think this stuff is rigged. Because they just don't create billionaires out of thin air. And even though you can win the Powerball and win $1 billion, but that's, man, come on, bro. They take half that shit anyway. They taking about $355 million of that shit. You probably get like a quarter of that shit.
No, right. And but remember, my life is.
Did that ever strike you that I can't eat the food because somebody might have done something to it? I gotta eat. I gotta live off an almond joy bar, 1 a day or 2 a day or whatever. How many ever sneak in a day?
No sneaking in.
Your 1 almond joy bar. Did
He's trying to say
not
the
hit
almond
you
bar
at some
built
time? How the fuck did I do
Let's
this?
put escargot on that shit.
No.
Motherfucker try to take this nigga out. Unless he
Let's go
snitch.
back to the spring of 2008. Were you so wrapped up in your personal issues at the time you were not spending enough time on the financial markets, or were you deeply involved in the financial markets like you normally were?
No, I was involved.
And you so we're saying that the smartest guy in the room didn't see it coming.
No, of course
The
not.
bankruptcy of Bear Stearns, you just thought was a Bear Stearns problem. You didn't see it as systemic.
I know you keep harping on it, but it's not
Because you're a mathematician and understands systems. It seems that anybody that understands that they had a systemic problem, you would at least be the first on the early search radar. If you're not going to see it, then I'm really afraid, because that means that I always assume there's at least a set of guys out there that have some sort of sense that something's not right.
Imagine the guy who has a stroke or had the heart attack. When you ask him, did you feel funny the day before? He's going to tell you, yeah, I didn't feel rest.
Yeah, like a brain aneurysm. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't know what's going on in their brain.
I felt a little weak. But if you asked him that day before, do you think you're going to have a heart attack tomorrow? He'd say, no, I just feel a little weak. I'm a little dizzy. My stomach hurts. So these systems,
It builds
that's
up over
the issue
time.
of complexity. What complexity says is that, in fact, everything seems to go along, and people have seen it. One of the great examples of complex systems is sand dunes. In fact, the sand keeps building up. People have seen something. And all of a sudden, one more sand drop, and all the sand starts running down the hills. That's the way I see the financial market.
Well, you funded Santa Fe in
So
the early 90s.
if one thing fuck up,
I
y'all
believe it
fuck
was
up.
early 90s. I can get back to you.
But early 90s, Santa Fe was funded
Script this shit well.
for the study of complexity theory.
It was math. So let's back up. So why did I buy a ranch in New
The
Mexico?
reason they took him out because he had so much dirt on
that's-
everybody.
gives you
Let's
some
be
sense. So I
honest,
would
he
have
had
funded
dirt
it in
on
1990.
everybody. The president of
Los Alamos, which was the high energy lab up in New Mexico, was losing all its scientists.
And Los Alamos, it was where Oppenheimer and where a lot of the nuclear weapons program, the bomb.
That's where the Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project was
Yes.
as Los Alamos, and you bought your property out in New Mexico to be near that?
Yes, because the scientists were going to they cut the funding for high energy physics. But the people who worked in Los Alamos would still be in the Santa Fe area.
They cut that because this was the Cold War dividend, right?
I don't remember exactly why. It was because, again, people thought that physics and high energy physics really wasn't that important.
Because that was about nuclear weapons.
No, it was because they decided, which is maybe not right. This was the same time that Murray Gell-Mann came up with the term quark, Q-U-A-R-K. He picked it out of an old poem, the word quark, but it was mysterious. So they were starting to understand in the 90s that our world of the physics world, there was things that were just unexplainable.
Motherfuckers just making up names.
They called it strange things. You gave it a name. You gave it some characteristics. You called it had charm. Was one of the terms. It had a charm. It had a flavor. It had a color. But no one, Mr. Bannon, understood what it was. Just like the financial system.
And you wanted to investigate that?
I wanted to see if we could build tools so others smarter than me could help investigate it.
And that was the beginning of your concept of the Santa Fe Institute?
Yes.
And Santa Fe Institute was founded to do study in this type of...
Can these areas of strange things be described by some form of mathematics?
So that's what I'm trying to get at. The foundational thought, the organizing principle of Santa Fe,
yes,
in the high physics lab at Los Alamos, right, which had been the headquarters of Manhattan and the Trinity Project, right, the bomb.
Yes.
So you're talking about the elite, the high priest
of physics.
Of physics.
Yes, sir.
Which high priest of physics, some subset of that is also mathematics.
Yes, they're both similar.
Project out. One of the tools you want to do is to make sure that in this complex system, the finance system, I'm doing a lot of this for philanthropy and a lot for the good of mankind, but also to be able to understand this complex system, the most complex outside of maybe our body, of the financial world.
Yes.
Did they create tools, or were you smarter in than the mid-aughts, 15 years later, than you had been then because of work that was done at Santa Fe?
No, it was great. But in fact, most of the money, most of my philanthropy in the area of can you describe things that appear to be unexplainable by mathematics, and can you fund people who have new ideas? And unfortunately, when someone thinks they've been able to, there was a man, Stuart Kaufman, when they think I figured out how to be able to predict the unpredictable, what appears to other people to be unpredictable. But my system, in those days it was called genetic algorithms, can predict what things will happen, and they all want to make money. So they use their systems to try to figure out, they know they have figured out the way to make money because they figured out the unexplainable. They try, they go bankrupt, and we start again. So with a cold view, what I've come to realize is that the attempt to mathematize, formularize, or what in your prior work, to understand what really is, in today's world, still unexplainable, is impossible. They're miracles.
Only God Yahweh.
Your first head of Santa Fe was Christopher
Langdon, I think.
Langdon from Australia.
But Murray Gell-Mann was the funder. He was the rock.
Yes, he was the rock. He was a Nobel Prize winner.
Yes.
Yes, and a wonderful guy. He came out and helped us with the Biosphere 2 project. He came with Chris Langdon. Yeah. Chris Langdon was the operator, the day-to-day.
Chris was doing artificial life. Right. Murray tried to lead his own artificial life.
Yes. When Chris came to Biosphere 2 for the first big conference we had in 1994, he was one of the most impressive guys there among all the world's elite. Kew Gardens, Lawrence Livermore Lab, the labs at Sandia, all the major universities, Lamont Doherty, all the big Earth observatories, Woods Hole. What set Langdon apart, I thought, and the reason I invited Santa Fe to be part of it, was Langdon actually made a presentation that everything, and he was making this to scientists, a lot of marine biologists, a lot of people that are just beginning, Wally Broker and people who were just beginning the study of climate change, at that time called global warming, that he made this compelling presentation that everything's really mathematics. Yes. It's all just back to math. And you have to, all these experiments you do, you're not, one of the reasons they're not considered by the high priest in physics as being real experiments is that they don't have a mathematical basis to it, and everything has a mathematical basis to it. Langdon seemed like a radical visionary. What happened to that concept?
You go back 350 years. So you have Isaac Newton, you have Leibniz. From move forward, you have people like Heisenberg and Gödel, and what every one of those mathematicians and philosophers came to understand is that there's something with, there's numbers can describe certain things, approximate certain things. But in fact, trying to put measurements and numbers on other things that are really unexplainable is folly. It's so 300 years ago they said that unexplainable realm was God. And people who attempted, in fact, to explain the unexplainable, who said, yes, I understand the unexplainable, were charlatans, they were the occults, they were the astrologers, they were the con men.
Alchemist.
Yes, well, no, alchemist was, in fact, they believed that there was a way to transmute one metal into another. In fact, they always wanted to see if they can create gold. There's no reason, if you think about it, they recognize that one metal is different than another metal because it has some additional pieces to it. It has additional neutrons or protons or electrons. So because they thought it was a machine, they believed it was a machine, if I can take 5 protons and add 5, that gives me 10, I should be able to get gold. So move everything around inside these systems, the molecules transmute one molecule into another, and if this molecule I've transmuted it into is gold, I'm a rich man. It's back to money. But there's something strange happens. Isaac Newton says, this is really weird. If I want to push a ball on the table, I have to touch it. Maybe I have to blow on it. But I actually have to push one side of the ball or the book to move that side. I'm pushing here, and obviously this thing is what appears to us humans to be solid, so it moves as one thing. But the only way to get something to move was to touch it or put a force against it. Okay. Seems to make sense. Everybody has that experience. I want to lift a glass, I lift it. If I want to push a ball, I push it. If I want to pull a ball, I pull it. But he recognized when the ball fell off the table, it went in a different direction. How's that possible? Nobody pushed the ball down. And he says, this is crazy. Why did the ball go down? I didn't push it. I just let it go. So someone's pushing the ball, because I know that I am confident that the only thing that gets something to move is with a force that pushes. So there's a force that's pushing the ball down. In fact, he called it gravity. He measured how fast it was pulled, but never was able to explain why it happened. How is it? What is gravity? It's this. Everybody says, well, why did the ball fall to the ground? Because gravity took it. But what's gravity? That's, as Feynman would say, that's the name of the thing. We have no idea what it is. This goes to Santa Fe. They were trying to explain the unexplainable. Can we measure? Can we figure out a way to predict the stock markets using these types of chaos complexity?
Before we get there, let's walk back. Let's go back to Newton.
Sure.
Pre-Newton. And then Newton. What did Newton solve that for millennia up to Newton had not been solved? Then I want to go forward all the way to Santa Fe, what they were trying to solve. Let's start with just 2 or 3 of the basic guys, but let's go with Newton. What pre-Newton, it was what? And then why is Newton such a
a genius.
In such a, I think mathematically they told me one time, I've seen there's been 115 billion people roughly that have lived on the earth. And of that 115 billion,
Are you sure that's a number? That sounds very high. We only have 7 now.
I think in the history of the earth, I think is I'll pull up the stat for you, but I think it's 115 billion people they figure.
That probably is inflation. That's why you
have lived through the earth. But he's one of the handful of the most important. What did he solve for? Why is he so important for how we live today? And then we want to go through Leibniz and the other 2 or 3 other major ones that get us to Santa Fe.
Well, it's a long journey.
This is the heart of what we're trying to do.
Let me take a bit of a detour just a second. What if you went to high school and the last year in your high school you took calculus? So Isaac Newton sort of invents calculus. Well, that sounds invents, mathematicians.
To torture seniors in high school before they graduate.
Yes, but obviously, no. Yes, the answer is yes. Sir.
Man, a lot of this shit was already created back in the Stone Age. Like, you feel me? Like, not Stone Age, but like, you feel me? Like, Egyptians and shit. Why is that the dividing line? We've been created math. We've been figured out the elements.
To me, people who can handle that and can go on to do
ain't
certain
nothing new
things.
under the sun, nigga. Ain't nothing new under the sun and moon. You niggas ain't create or invent nothing. It is stole shit.
Calculus is the thing that changes. It bridges. That's because it's about the theory of change and the theory of how things change.
It's a great question, but in fact, what calculus does is it's somewhat philosophical. That's why mathematics is. Newton wasn't a mathematician. He was called a geometer. That's what they used to call themselves. They understood geometry and numbers. But there's an old conundrum where it says and during Pythagoras' days, Zeno's paradox it's called, where they said, well, if the wall is 2 feet away from me, and I take one step that's halfway to the wall, that'll be 1 foot away. And if I take another step that's half again, that'll be half a foot away, then 1/4 of a foot. I could walk forever but never touch the wall. Doesn't sound realistic, doesn't make any sense in our real lives of the physical. But what Newton understood is many problems were like that. Many things approached the wall, or in calculus, approached the limit, but never really reached it. So he said, it's okay, you don't have to reach it. We can do lots of the mathematics as if it was so close, it was almost there. And we could do lots of mathematics almost being at the limit. And this is really important, Steve, for today. Because most of the science up until today was things that are starting to approach the limit. You were taught in high school that if you had 1 divided by 0, but if you remember your high school algebra, you were told, what's the answer to that? Is there an answer to 1 divided by 0? No, if you were in high school, I'd say, stay away from it. It's the boogeyman. You could write it down as it's undefined. It's not able to be determined. There's a bunch of things. But in fact, 1 divided by 0 is a strange things happen. It's a world of the strange. And I'll explain to you after is that when you get 1 divided by 0, you get into a world we don't know what happens. The answer is it's not explainable. We can call it things like undetermined. We can have a convention to say it's X, Y, or Z. But in real life, we don't know what happens when you are actually at the limit. So,
shout out to Rap Threads YT. So we got Jayz, Epstein files. Hey, we all know Trump in it, and former princes and presidents and celebrities in it. But Jayz, hey, this shit wild.
Ain't no way anything could be going on with Jayz in 1996. Surely not.
Jayz has just been exposed after the Epstein files were released, and the footage and documents that were found there will absolutely shock you. No cap. I'm talking about some wild, wild stuff that's got the whole internet going crazy right now. But yo, before we get into all that,
Shit getting
let
crazy,
me break down
man.
this entire situation from the beginning, because this is where it gets absolutely insane. All right, so first things first, let me put y'all on game about who Jeffrey Epstein really was, because if you don't know the full story, you're about to be shook. This dude was a billionaire financier, right? Sounds fancy and all that. But bro, what he was really doing behind closed doors was some of the most disgusting, vile stuff you could ever imagine. I'm not even lying when I say this man was operating like a straight-up villain from a movie. So get this, Jeffrey Epstein bought himself a
Going out
private
of
island in the
crazy.
Caribbean. We're talking
Bitch.
about Little St. James Island in the U.S. Virgin
Nickelodeon
Islands.
built that.
People started calling it Epstein Island. Some even called it something way darker that I can't even say on here. But yo, why would a billionaire need a whole private island? That's the question everybody should have been asking from the jump. Here's where it gets crazy, fam. This wasn't just some vacation spot where rich people go to chill and drink fancy drinks. Nah. According to all the court documents and testimonies that came out, Epstein was using this island to traffic girls. And I'm talking y'all, teenagers. This man was running a whole operation where he would bring these girls to his island and do unspeakable things to them. But wait, it gets worse. He wasn't just doing
A
this
lot of
for
these girls are
himself.
bozos,
Homie
though.
was providing these
I'm just
services
being
to other
honest.
powerful people. We're talking about politicians, celebrities, business moguls, all types of high-profile people were allegedly going to this island. And Epstein, he was supposedly recording everything. Every single thing that happened on that island, he had cameras set
Diddy
up.
wasn't even in the
Why?
island.
For blackmail, gang. This dude was collecting dirt on the most powerful people in the world so they could never turn on him. Now, let me break down how this whole thing came crashing down. In 2019, Jeffrey Epstein got arrested by federal agents in New Jersey after his private jet landed from Paris. The charges?
Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein arrested on new charges.
Bro, when I tell you the whole world was watching this case, I mean everybody was tuned in. People were finally about to get answers about who else was involved in this sick
I was a young ass
operation.
kid. I was
But
not
here's
watching
where
this.
it gets
I didn't know who the
absolutely
fuck he
wild,
was
and I
at
kid
my
you
age.
not, this sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy movie. On August 10th, 2019,
Nigga, they said that they had
Jeffrey Epstein
all the
was
kids
found
of
dead in
little
his jail
kids
cell. They
of
said
my
he
age
killed
from
himself.
older.
But yo, chat, are we really
Pictures of the
supposed to
kids.
believe that? This man was in a
And
federal
names.
prison, supposedly on 24-hour surveillance with cameras everywhere, and he just happens to die right before he could snitch on
Cap.
everybody? The internet went crazy. People were saying there's no way this was a They're saying somebody got to him because he knew too much. He had dirt on too many powerful
Yup.
people. And if he started talking, it would have brought down presidents, princes, billionaires,
Yup.
everybody. So what happened? The cameras malfunctioned, the guards fell asleep, and boom, Epstein's dead. That's actually insane when you think about
And
it.
they said
So
it looked
for
like a
years,
picture.
people have been
The picture didn't even
demanding
look
to see
like
the
him. The
Epstein
person who
files.
died, they said it
Who
didn't
was
even
on
look like
that
him.
island?
I seen the
Who was
picture.
on
It didn't
those
even look
flight
like him.
logs? What names are in those documents? The government kept everything sealed up tight, saying they had to protect the victims and all that. But yo, people weren't buying it. They wanted to know the truth. And then, just recently, Congress passed something called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Basically, they were forced to release millions of pages of documents, court records, FBI tips, everything.
And it's probably
Today
way
we are
more than that.
producing more than 3 million
I
pages,
told you more than 3
including
million.
more than 2,000 videos
Damn.
and 180,000 images.
And when I tell you the internet detectives went to work, bro, people were
They
going through these
they
files page by page, looking
redacted
for
and all of
names,
it.
looking for evidence, looking for anything that would expose who was really involved in this whole operation. And this is where Jayz comes into the picture. And y'all, this is not looking good for Hav right now.
I like it. It's nice. An iPhone 7 Plus.
Looking
Where'd that
good
bit
for
come
Hav
from?
right now, I'm not gonna lie. So in these newly released FBI documents, there's this tip that came in back in 2019, right around the time Epstein got arrested. And in this tip, somebody called the FBI National Threat Operations Center, claiming they were a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Now let me read y'all what this document says word for word, because this is crazy. The person said that back in 1996, they were and I'm talking straight up and when they woke up, they were in what they believed was Epstein's mansion in Florida. And get this, they said Harvey Weinstein was there and Sean Carter was there. For those who don't know, Sean Carter is Jay-Z's real name, fam. The document says that Harvey Weinstein was doing disgusting things to this person while they were drugged, and Jay-Z was present. Bro, when I first read this, I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? This is one of the biggest rappers of all time we're talking about. The same dude who's married to Beyonce, who's a billionaire, who everybody looks up to as this business mogul.
The 2,000 videos and 180,000 images are not all videos and images taken by Mr. Epstein or someone around him. They include large quantities of commercial and images that were seized from Epstein's devices, but which he did not take or that someone around him did not take.
But wait, there's more. The document also mentions that this person was abducted 7 different times, and each time they woke up in these fancy mansions, drugged out of their mind, being abused by these powerful men. And they specifically named Jay-Z, Harvey Weinstein, and even some politicians and billionaires like Leon Black and William Barr, who was the U.S. Attorney General at the time. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. Yo, this is just one person calling in a tip. Where's the proof? And that's fair. That's fair. But here's the thing, gang. This person knew details that only somebody who was really there would know. They knew about Leon Black, who we now know had a close friendship with Epstein going back to the 1990s. This dude, Leon Black, even wrote a poem in a book for Epstein's 50th birthday talking about blonde, red, or brunette and signed it, Love and Kisses, Leon. Like, bro, these people were really out here living like this. And it gets even crazier. The same document mentions Pusha T. Yeah, the rapper Pusha T. The person said that Pusha T was one of their handlers, basically somebody who would befriend victims and them before bringing them to these parties. In 2007, they said they went to a party where both Harvey Weinstein and Pusha T were present, and they got again. Now, both Jay-Z and Pusha T have rapped about being drug dealers back in the day, right? That's like their whole persona. Rappers, the kingpins, all that. So people are connecting the dots like, yo, were they supplying to Epstein's operation? Were they involved in this whole trap? That's what people are asking right now, and nobody's getting any answers. And yo, if you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Nicki Minaj just jumped into this whole situation, and she is not holding back. Nicki went on an absolute rampage on Twitter, posting and reposting all types of stuff about Jay-Z, and bro, she is calling him out. She reposted this picture of Jay-Z when he was 27 years old with Aaliyah, who was only 16 at the time.
And ain't no way anything could be going on with Jay-Z in 1996. Surely not.
Then there's another picture of him at 26 with Foxy Brown, who was 15. 15, y'all. Nicki also posted about this guy named Rymir Satterthwaite, who's been claiming for years that he's Jay-Z's son. And now this kid, who's grown now, has been trying to get Jay-Z to take a paternity test for over a decade, and Jay-Z keeps refusing. Like, bro, if you didn't do anything wrong, why not just take the test and clear your name? Why are you running from it?
It just really dawned on me. It's the man that my mom was under when she consumed me. And anyone who'd have been older and be doing so much and running.
And yo, let me break down this Foxy Brown situation even more, because this has been an open secret in hip-hop for years, but nobody really talks about it. There's all these clips of Wendy Williams, rest in peace to her career. But back in the day, Wendy was asking Foxy Brown straight up about her relationship with Jay-Z. And Foxy would get all giggly and weird about it, never really denying it, but never confirming it either.
Allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right, I'll say alleged, but
it kind of get crazy, man. When you super famous and rich, nigga.
Even Nas, during his legendary beef with Jay-Z, made references to Jay-Z and Foxy Brown's relationship in his diss tracks. Nas said Jay-Z had to perform Foxy just to get her to be on his songs. And while both Jay-Z and Foxy denied ever being together romantically, Foxy later dropped a song where she literally said, on the low, the real dude was Jay-Z. Like, she admitted it in a song, Fam. And then there's Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner and best friend. Nick Cannon interviewed Dame and straight up asked him how old Foxy Brown was when she got signed. And Dame got all uncomfortable and was like, I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown, I didn't sign her. But Nick kept pressing him, and Dame basically said, yeah, I thought Foxy was like 16 when all that was going on.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
Yeah, but that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I'm just asking a question.
Because I'm on the block, I'm responsible for everybody.
You the boss. I'm just asking a question.
I don't know. My name is Cousin Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Oh, nah, you ain't in it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
I promise you. I
thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
Did I sign her?
sounds like
all I'm saying is in this industry when we live in these glass houses.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. When you say that Foxy was 16 when she got signed, why did you say that just now? Just curious.
That you can have permanent teeth in.
Say that just now. Just curious.
When I first was introduced to who Foxy was, I thought there was something between Foxy and Jay.
Oh, yeah, Jay. But that's the question you were trying to ask me.
Oh, I was because you was there. I only can ask the people. You my man. We close. You was there. That's all I was asking.
It would be so out of my character to speak on another man's business.
So we not gonna do that because we don't want you to speak out of character.
Dame also talked about how Jay-Z did 2 whole albums with R. Kelly after everybody knew that R. Kelly had illegally married Aaliyah when she was 15. Dame said he confronted Jay-Z about it like, yo, how are you gonna work with the dude who hurt your girl? And according to Dame, Jay-Z just brushed it off and did the albums anyway. That's wild, bro. Like if somebody hurt someone you cared about, why would you do business with them? Unless you didn't really care or unless you were doing similar things. I'm just asking questions, y'all. Now let's talk about the Beyonce situation, because this is where it gets really uncomfortable. The official story is that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18, and they started dating when she was 19. That's what they've always said in interviews. Beyonce told Oprah that they were friends first for a year and a half, talking on the phone, building a foundation, all that cute stuff.
We were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any date on the phone for a year and a half.
But yo, Gene Deal, who was Diddy's former bodyguard, he tells a completely different story. Gene said he was at Club Eugene in 1998 or 1999, and Beyonce was there, and she wasn't even supposed to be in the club because she was too young. And he said Jay-Z was dating her at that time, and if you do the math, Jay-Z would have been about 30 years old, and Beyonce would have been 17 or 18 at the most. Gene even said there's confusion about Beyonce's real age because Gabrielle Union said she went to junior high school with Beyonce, but Gabrielle Union is supposedly 6 or 7 years older than Beyonce's listed age. So people are out here questioning if Beyonce's real age is even what we think it is. That's actually insane. And here's what's really crazy about all of this, gang. Jay-Z is not saying anything. Usually, when somebody gets accused of something this serious, they come out swinging with lawyers, statements, denials, all that. But Jay-Z, radio silence. He's trying to brush this whole thing under the rug
that shit
like
don't
it never
matter.
happened.
Let's
There's
be honest,
even
man. Nobody give
reports,
a
and
fuck.
these are unverified,
Nigga,
so
like,
take it with a grain of salt.
man,
But there's reports that Jay-Z's
these
private
hoes
jet
be
left
skanks.
Miami right after these
I
files
hate to
dropped
be
and
like
flew to
that.
an undisclosed
You know what I'm
location
saying?
outside
And
of
it's
the
like,
United
oh,
States.
but they
People are saying he left the country,
These hoes
bro.
are
Now, is he on the run, or is he just a
It is
billionaire
what
who
it
goes
is,
on
you know?
vacation
Nobody
all
gives
the
a fuck.
time? We don't
The only
know,
stuff
but
we
the
care about
timing
is
is suspicious.
they taking
You
out
gotta
motherfuckers
admit
and
that.
eating people.
Yo, let me break down why this is such a big
All that
deal.
stuff.
It's
All
not
that
just
stuff,
about
man.
Jay-Z. It's about the fact that there's been this pattern in
But
the
you been knowing
entertainment
they was doing
industry
that
for
shit.
decades of powerful men preying on young girls and getting away with it. We saw it with R. Kelly.
You been
It took
knowing they was doing
years
this
before
shit,
he
nigga.
finally
Like,
got
we ain't
locked up, and
stupid.
everybody knew what he was doing. We saw it with Harvey Weinstein in Hollywood. We saw it with Diddy, who's currently locked up facing similar charges. And now
But it
people are
wasn't for
asking,
none of that.
is
It was for
Jay-Z next? Is this finally the moment where one of the biggest names in hip-hop gets exposed for allegedly being involved in this type of behavior? Because if these documents are true, if these allegations have any merit to them, then we're talking about one of the biggest scandals in music history. Now, I gotta be fair here,
So
fam.
Jeffrey
These are
from Brooklyn, New
unverified
York? That's
FBI
kind of
tips.
crazy.
This isn't a court case. Jay-Z hasn't been charged with anything. This is somebody calling in a tip line back in 2019. And we don't know if the FBI ever investigated it further. We don't know if they found any
Jay-Z
evidence
changed
to
his whole
support these
career.
claims. And that's important to remember. But at the same time, this person knew details that checked out. They knew about Leon Black, who we now know was deeply connected to Epstein. They knew about Harvey Weinstein, who's currently in prison. They knew about William Barr, who was the Attorney General at the time. So this wasn't just some random person making stuff up. They had information. And the fact that Nicki Minaj is going this hard on Jay-Z right now, that's huge. Nicki is one of the biggest artists in the world, and she's putting her reputation on the line by calling out Jay-Z like this. She's posting pictures, she's posting receipts, she's bringing up old interviews and old stories that people forgot about. She's making people ask questions that they should have been asking a long time ago. Nicki even said in one of her tweets, your favorite artist has been practicing
that's the
rituals
shit we
in a
talking about.
satanic cult where they take babies from other countries
feel
and
me?
mutilate kill them as
You
a
feel
form of
me,
blood
man? That's what we
sacrifice.
talking about.
Now that's getting into some really dark conspiracy
That's what we
territory,
talking
but
about.
the fact that she's willing to say that
All that
publicly
other
shows
bullshit,
you how
that's for the birds and
serious she
bees. That's
is about
distraction, nigga.
this.
We talking about that
And what's
shit.
really telling is
Nigga.
that nobody in the industry is defending Jay-Z right now.
All that
Usually when a big
taking
artist gets
kids and
accused of something, You'll see
doing
other
rituals
artists
and
come
all
out
that.
and be
That's
like,
kind of crazy.
nah, I know
That's
him,
what
he
we
would
talking
never do
about.
that. But right now,
All that other
silence.
stuff, man, that's
Nobody
bullshit.
wants
That's
to touch this
distraction.
with a 10-foot pole because they don't know what else is going to come out in these files. 50 Cent posted about it, and you know 50 loves to troll Jay-Z, so he's having a field day with this. He said, damn, they got your man Jay in the Epstein files. I got to do a documentary on this. And knowing 50, he probably will. That man loves exposing people. So here's where we're at right now, gang. We got FBI documents mentioning
So
Jay-Z's
Joe
name
Biden was
in
in it.
connection with Jeffrey
Donald
Epstein's
Trump,
operation. We got Nicki Minaj
Jay-Z,
exposing a pattern of
the
Jay-Z
princes of
allegedly being around
overseas,
girls throughout
more
his
people.
career.
It's a
We
whole
got
bunch of
former
more people, man.
associates like Dame
Bill
Dash
Clinton.
confirming
It's so
some of
many
these
people that's
timelines.
in
We
this
got
government that
Jay-Z
was in that
staying
shit.
completely silent and allegedly leaving the country. And we got the whole internet going crazy trying to figure out
And they
what's
want to
really
blame
going on.
us.
Is Jay-Z
Nigga, if this
guilty
is
of what
us,
he's being
nigga, we would
accused
have been
of?
off
I
the
don't know,
paint.
fam. I'm not a
We would
judge
have
or a
been 30
jury.
feet under
But what I do know is that
jail
there's too
cell.
much smoke here for there not to be some kind of
We would have
fire.
been in the
And the fact
grave,
that
nigga.
he's not addressing
If that was
any of
us,
this,
nigga,
the
they
fact
would
that
have
he's
had
not
World War
suing
18,
anybody for
nigga.
defamation, the fact that he's just hoping this blows over,
Just
that's
go
not
to
a
show
good
you,
look.
nigga,
And
money out of
yo,
power,
this is
man. That
bigger
shit
than
wild,
just
bro.
Jay-Z. This is about
That shit
holding
some wild
powerful
ass shit,
people
man. These
accountable.
motherfuckers
For too long, these
is on
billionaires and
some crazy
celebrities
ass
have been
shit,
able
nigga.
to do whatever they want with no consequences. They got the money, they got the lawyers, they got the connections to make problems disappear. But the internet, don't forget, gang, people are saving these documents, they're sharing them, they're making sure this information doesn't get buried. Whether you're a Jay-Z fan or not, you gotta admit this whole situation is wild.
Yeah, it's wild in the bitch. I ain't
About
gonna care.
one
That
of
shit
the
wild.
most respected figures in hip-hop potentially being connected to one of the biggest operations in modern history. That's not something you can just ignore. So what do y'all think? Is Jay-Z guilty? Is this all just conspiracy theories and lies, or is there some truth to these
I don't know,
allegations?
man.
Let me know in the comments, fam, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because this story is far from over. More information is going to keep coming out, and you know I'm going to be here to break it all down for y'all. All right, gang, that's it for this video. I'll catch y'all.
Shout out, the truth is, now we gonna get into Nicki Minaj because you know Nicki Minaj, she don't like Jay-Z. You know, she exposed that nigga and everything.
Nicki Minaj just went completely berserk on Jay-Z, and she's shocking the internet. Fresh off her appearance with Trump
she just tried to
in a
expose that
viral
nigga.
war with Don Lemon, Nicki is now calling out Jay-Z by name after those recent Epstein files started circulating, where she just claimed is completely unexpected, not because of the allegations themselves, but because Nicki is actually willing to say it out loud. After decades in the industry alongside these people, the question is, why is she breaking the code now? And more importantly, is these comments against Jay-Z connected to the new Epstein files? For the last few days, Nicki Minaj has been trending for all sorts of reasons. First, she showed up to a Turning Point USA event where she was seen on stage hanging out with Erica Kirk. This seemed to be the pregame for the next move, which was appearing next to the President of the United States himself. Just a few days back, Nicki showed up to show support for Trump and speak to the MAGA fan base. This ended up sparking massive backlash online as her fans saw this as a sellout moment. But right as the tension was building and people were really starting to turn on Nicki, she took it there and accused Jay-Z of doing some of the most heinous things imaginable. Now obviously, if you follow this channel, you know that for years, I have been exposing the music industry's deeply dark hidden side, revealing the darkness that lies at the root of the industry. I say that because I believe everything Nicki said about Jay-Z is true. But I have some issues with Nicki saying this, and I will get more into that later. First, let's get into the tweets themselves and break down exactly what Nicki is talking about and why I believe she's actually correct about the things she's saying. In the recent tweets Nicki aimed at Jay-Z, she accused him of not only being into them young, but being a part of the secret societies that control the industry. She went as far as to accuse Jay-Z of allegedly participating in ritual sacrifices. Let's start with the tweet she made about Jay-Z and him being interested in young girls, which is what likely got him on the list in the first place. Nicki Minaj retweeted this tweet with the caption true or false. She was referring to the allegations the person was making on the tweet about Jay-Z. The tweet read, Jay-Z dated Foxy Brown when she was 15 and took her virginity. He was 23. Jay-Z was going out with Aaliyah when she was 15, 16, or 17, and he was 26, 27, or 28. Jay-Z met Beyonce at 16 and started dating her when she was 18 or 19, and he was 30. Jay-Z signed Rihanna at 16, and she said in an interview that she was flown to meet Jay-Z, who wouldn't let her leave until she signed the contract and locked her in the office until 3 a.m. After Nicki retweeted this, she went on to make another tweet going even harder at Jay. She said, Imagine if a 30-year-old rapper was out here with a 16-year-old in this day and age, and how y'all would have his head on the platter.
Facts, nigga,
The
kill a
guy was
nigga right
hugging
now.
on teens in broad daylight. She then tweeted out a photo of Jay-Z holding hands with a very young Aaliyah.
Feels a regular
Jay-Z
nigga.
was literally on top of her, and he was in his 20s at the time, while Aaliyah was 16 or
If it
17.
was a broke nigga,
Now, honestly,
looking
I
at
wasn't
doing some
expecting to
goofy
see
shit like
Nicki call
this
this out. These
at
are
30?
things I have been pointing out for
Nigga trying to
years.
end niggas.
At this point, it's pretty much well
For little
known that
shit.
Jay-Z likes girls that are much, much younger than him. He literally married Beyonce after he started dating her when she was still a teen as well. In fact, I even interviewed Rihanna's former publicist, Jonathan Hay, who alleged that Jay-Z was hooking up with Rihanna when he first signed her at 16. At any moment, did you personally feel that they could have had something going on? Jay-Z and Rihanna? You can say allegedly. Okay, allegedly.
Shout out to the truth is, man.
Okay, definitely. On top of this, everyone in the industry knows the story about Foxy Brown. Nick Cannon literally grilled Dame Dash for Jay-Z allegedly dating Foxy when she was 15 or 16.
Was Foxy Brown signed? I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown. But that's it. Sign Foxy Brown. I'm just asking a question. I'm not insinuating. I just had to ask you. I thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying. You said that Foxy was 16 when she got signed. Why did you say
Man,
that?
he niggas got rich as hell off that shit, though.
To who Foxy was, I thought there was something between Foxy and Jay.
Now think about it. Jay-Z was accused of doing
Them
stuff
hoes
with the
got
13-year-old
rich as
a few
hell.
years back. Now, in the
And they
Epstein
got famous
files,
as hell.
he is being called an
You know what I'm
urban
saying?
gatekeeper
Woe is
who was
me.
put in place to keep the urban community under control.
Motherfucking
He was
Rihanna,
literally
only
being accused
16
of
or
being in a room
17.
where a victim
But now she's a
suffered.
fucking
Now, if you thought this was
billionaire,
bad
nigga.
already, wait until you
Nigga,
hear
it's a
what Nicki
fucking
said
15,
about
16-year-old.
Jay-Z and the satanic
However,
industry
man,
rituals.
feel me?
In
Like,
this
come on,
recent
bro.
Twitter rant, Nicki claimed that Jay-Z is participating in sacrifice rituals,
That's kinda
literally
crazy.
accusing him of making offerings to evil gods. She said in the tweet, "Are y'all understanding that these people have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless as they are and will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story times, since I was trying to not say what I know, yet they continue to attempt to bullying." She then followed up this tweet by saying, "Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and harm them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up." She then continued by taking aim at the ritual that was taking place at the Grammy Awards that night.
Whoa.
She said, "As they do their rituals tonight, God Almighty would reveal himself to them. The rituals will backfire on them. God will not be mocked. Blessed is the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned and put to shame." Watch. In these tweets, Nicki was calling Jay-Z and other artists in the industry satanic. She claims that Jay-Z is a part of a satanic cult. Now, as crazy as this sounds, I have shown plenty of evidence over the years that suggests she isn't lying. See, Jay-Z has been incorporating plenty of occult imagery into his music for years. He literally branded himself with occult imagery, from his label name down to his signature hand sign. He also showed his ties to infamous occultist Aleister Crowley back in his Run This Town music video. Aleister Crowley is seen as the most famous Satanist, and Jay-Z praised him. In the behind-the-scenes interview for the Run This Town video, Jay-Z was seen wearing a hoodie with Aleister Crowley's main slogan, "Do what thou wilt." Right on Jay-Z's
Y'all
Twitter,
look
you
to
can
his
see the
documentary, that
phrase.
motherfucker.
Aleister Crowley was known for
Yeah, him.
performing all kinds of
Yeah, he was
twisted
on some fuck
rituals
shit.
that sometimes even involve children.
Yeah, he
The
was on
fact
fuck
that
shit. He was
Jay-Z
on
is
crazy.
willing to show a man like Crowley praise tells you everything you need to know. I don't think Nicki is lying when she made these claims about Jay. These are the same things I have been saying for years.
Yeah, this shit
Now, the
wild.
question you might have is, why is Nicki saying all of this right now? Well, according to her, it's because Rock Nation is trying to destroy her. She tweeted, "They sabotaged my documentary because I spoke about abuse that I suffered. They've been trying to stall all my projects in hopes I lose a bunch of money and beg them for help. The destruction that's about to come down on them isn't funny. I
That's a
told you
fact.
to leave me alone. Now you'll understand why you should have just sat there and taken your meds." Now, Nicki claims she's doing this because
y'all
she's
be
had
with us,
enough
man. This
and
stuff
is
is
now
weird,
defending
man.
herself against Rock Nation.
Cause these
But is
motherfuckers,
this
man,
really the
been doing
reason
this
she's
weird
saying all of this? To find the truth, we have to examine the
blood
timing of all
stuff
of
for
this.
the minute.
If you saw my last video that I posted yesterday regarding the recent Epstein files released, then you would know I pointed to Jay-Z being one of the scapegoats used to feed the
Yeah,
people
Jay-Z is
about the
scapegoat.
Epstein files. It's not a coincidence that Jay-Z's name were in the Epstein files, and now Nicki is calling him a satanic PDF file. Obviously, this all connects back to her connection to Donald Trump. Now, those of you who watch my channel know how I feel about politics and about the left and the right. I think they're all puppets, and it doesn't matter which side you play on. I don't think it's random that Nicki is calling Jay-Z a satanic PDF file after the Epstein files said the exact same thing. I also don't think it's random that Nicki is supporting Trump either. Another man who was accused of some very dark things in these recent Epstein files. I'm actually working on a Patreon diving into those allegations that would be dropping in the next few days. If you're one of my members, you can expect that soon. Nicki is being used to further push the narrative that the Epstein files painted in order to keep all the attention on Jay-Z and off the big fish they were protecting. This is how they redirect the conversation to stay on the scapegoats. That's why they have Nicki Minaj saying this. While I believe Nicki is right about Jay-Z, that doesn't change the fact that Nicki herself is a sellout like all the rest. Unfortunately, Nicki is the wrong person to call out Jay-Z when she herself is guilty of the same things. Honestly, before she called out Jay, she should have called out Birdman and all the weird things he allegedly did to Lil Wayne when he was a kid. Remember, there was literally pictures of Birdman making out with Lil Wayne. Wayne also said that Birdman paid for a girl to take his virginity when he was a preteen, all while he sat there and watched it go down. If she's calling out satanic rappers, why doesn't she call out Lil Wayne or Drake, who used the same occult imagery as Jay-Z and all the other sellouts? Better yet, why doesn't she speak about herself? She has used the same imagery she's calling Jay-Z out for. Nicki has music videos like this one where she is literally in hell depicting herself as a demon. It's crazy that Nicki called out the occult rituals at the award shows, forgetting that she too did a ritual at an award show. Literally pretended to be demonically possessed while floating on stage. But that's not even the worst of it. It's crazy to see Nicki claiming Jay-Z likes them young, while her own brother is literally in prison for liking them young and doing very bad things to them. Also, her husband is accused of some messed up things as well. Yet, she defends both her brother and her husband. Nicki calling out Jay-Z is great, but it doesn't erase the fact that she is a puppet too. She is literally showing us that right now. Obviously, this
at least he spoke on it. I mean, I wish he'd do that to
the elite are doing what they always do, using their puppets to control the masses. By Nicki showing up next to Trump, she's showing us she's sold out too. She is just a puppet of the system. Right now, she is being used to push whatever narrative they need her to push. Once her job is done, she will get her prize like a good little puppet. Don't be surprised if Nicki's brother ends up receiving a pardon from Trump after this.
Crazy.
The fact that Nicki is talking about don't vote left is a big tell. Both sides are exactly the same.
They're the same.
They're both guilty as can be in my eyes. If Nicki is telling you to pick a side, she is being used by the system and being paid by the system. So yes, in my opinion, Nicki is right. But all the same things could be said about her. It's a nasty game being played right now. Don't fall for it. Make sure you keep yourself out of the trap. Well, I'm gonna end this one here.
Man.
If you enjoy real content,
Alright, we back. So like I said, man, we been known as kidnapping people. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about this shit, man. A lot of this stuff that's been going on in this system, you know, it has kept a lot of strong, powerful people in position because off of all these, you know, rituals. You know what I'm saying? With the blood and all that. And that's like I be trying to tell people, man, they just trying to distract us really with the kids and what they've been doing. That's a distraction. Because they don't want us to get to what's really been going on. You know what I'm saying? They just trying to use the kid stuff as a cover-up. Even though they was taking out kids, but you feel me? They using that as a cover-up. But, like I tell y'all niggas, man, stay woke. Don't fall for the bait. And we always gonna see what's really going on. And we out this bitch hood and outside. Big crip in the game outside shit, man.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.